that it's actually understated. I like that it's people that really know the house and know the brand and love luxury handbags would know what it is. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a review video of the Mini Roulis over here. I've just put it back here because I need a bit of space with my big bump. So if you do like luxury videos and you aren't already subscribed to my channel, then I would appreciate if you would hit that subscribe button below and also the bell so you can be notified when I upload new videos. I upload twice a week on Wednesday and on a weekend. We're not really going to be talking about the leather. We're just going to be doing a review of the overall bag. So we'll run through some things. Firstly, we'll start off with when you do receive the Mini Roulis. It comes in a very cute orange box, a very small orange box. On my one, it does still have the sticker thingy on it. I'm not sure if it's supposed to, but mine does. So it says Roulis Mini BARENIA FAUBOURG in the color Fauve, which is more typically what they do BARENIA in is in the color Fauve. BARENIA does exist in other colors, like I think Evelyne, which is like really dark brown and black, but super rare, and I don't even think they produce it like that anymore. That's just a little side note. When you do get the bag, you will get a dust bag for the strap. You also get a felt cover, and you do get a dust bag for the bag. However, I think mine's in my cupboard somewhere. So yeah, I just thought I would show you what you should expect. We'll just run through the pricing that I have got here because this is not, I just want to give a bit of an overview of the bag before we go into the pros and cons, which really talks more about my impressions of the bag and how I feel about the bag. The Mini Roulis in euro is 5,050. It is in Australian dollars 10,405 if you get it in EVERCOLOUR, which is typically the leather that this comes in. In BARENIA, this was $11,020 Australian. This is all pricing from 2020 this year after the price increase. And then in USD, it is $7,050. Overall, my opinion of the bag is that I love it. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm especially loving the fact that it's in BARENIA. I think that makes it extra special that it is in BARENIA because this is a heritage leather for Hermes. Even though this is in BARENIA FAUBOURG, which is not the traditional BARENIA. The traditional BARENIA is smooth, but I still feel as though I'm at least getting a taste of the Hermes heritage, even if it is in the FAUBOURG version of BARENIA, which is fairly new to the house. So let's run through what fits in the bag. Now, I'm going to fill it to capacity, just so you can get an understanding of what it actually fits. That's the mini pochette inside, and I've just had to put that in the back compartment there. And you can already see that because the mini pochette is so full, you're really kind of stretching out the sides of the gusset. It can handle this. I just wouldn't do this regularly because if you did this all the time, it is really going to stretch out the bag. But I just wanted to show you at full capacity what it does fit. Now, I don't use an iPhone Plus. I don't use a plus size phone. My phone is actually just a regular size. So it fits in, no worries. But I just want to try and show you with a plus size phone. This is a 6.5-inch screen, so that is even slightly bigger than the iPhone X Plus, if I'm not mistaken. I think the iPhone X Plus is a 6-inch diagonally, and this measured at 6.5-inch diagonally. So that does fit in the bag. So that way you are aware that yes, an iPhone Plus X does fit inside the Mini Roulis. And then on the sides, it's not pushing, it's kind of slightly pushing through slightly, but not all too bad. It might not do that if I put that in the back compartment instead, but I do have the mini pochette in there. And then my key pouch, which is actually being used as a mini wallet right now because I just love it as a mini wallet. It fits all my cards, got 8 cards in there, and I don't really tend to carry cash anyway. And then I've got my keys in this key pouch here. And it is quite a tight squeeze with that mini pochette in. I might move the phone over to the back so it's not pressing against the front of the leather. So there you are. That's at full capacity. And it does fit, but I really don't advise it. As long as the actual flap is tucked in under that Roulis buckle there, then all those contents will fit. But I'm not comfortable with this. This is too overstuffed and it's giving the bag a really ugly sort of shape. But I just wanted to show you at maximum capacity. Usually how I would carry the bag. Obviously I wouldn't use that phone, but we're just going to leave it in there for the sake of this because I think a lot of people have plus size phones. So I'm just going to take some items out of this. So my hand sanitizer, probably would want to carry that with me. My lip gloss, my Dual Maximizer lip gloss, and my nasal spray. And I probably would want to carry my power bank just because I'm a heavy phone user and I probably would struggle without any phone battery if I ever ran out. So my power bank, and there is a pocket at the back here. There's also a pocket in the center there, but I don't think, I could probably use it for my power bank maybe. It's alright. Yeah, I guess so. So I just put my power bank in this little center part there. My nasal spray upright. Hand sanitizer, make sure the lid's on tight. Actually, what probably I would rather do, usually I carry my tissues with me and I put my hand sanitizer inside the tissues just in case. Because if it leaks, at least it's going to leak inside this pouch and tissues will at least absorb it too. You don't want hand sanitizer going around your bag, especially in the Mini Roulis where I recommend the 7RP inserts, but they don't do an insert for like Constance or Roulis, but you wouldn't really want to because you're just going to lose too much space inside the bag. But that's just the only downfall, is that you can't really protect the inside. You just have to try and do your best to protect with pouches or Glad bags or whatever. I've just played some Tetris and I've just moved a few things around. So I'm not using that little, that center compartment anymore. I've just moved the phone to kind of in the middle of the bag. And that closes much better now. And that's how it looks on the side. So that's fine. That's okay. I'm alright with that because it doesn't feel like it's bulging or anything like that. It doesn't feel like it's too heavily stuffed. But obviously, this is not my size of phone. This is my size of phone, and this is much better. Much better. There we go. So with a smaller size phone, I just feel like it just feels better. It feels that little bit less full. Not that that was full, but you know, just to the kind of liking that I like to sort of stuff my bag. You could use the back pocket for your phone as well. So if I put my phone in the back pocket, that is pretty much the only way you can carry it with it sticking out like that. But that's okay. Like, I mean, if you just want to grab it, if you just want to chuck it in when you need to be hands-free, then that's okay. It's not like it's really stretching out the back pocket all too much. As you can see, this is a small bag. It doesn't fit an awful lot. It does fit your essentials, so it really just depends what your essentials sort of are. To run through all the pros. So before my battery dies on this phone. So the pros of the bag, it has 3 adjustment levels. How you actually do adjust this bag is that on the end of the strap, on one side, so on one side it's fixed. So you'll see here on one side, that little circular ring is actually fixed to the bag. And then on this side, you have this ring that's fixed, but the strap is not. So it's actually got a T-bar at the end, and this T-bar is what you use to adjust. So one side actually goes in, the other side doesn't. So as you can see, I'm pressing with both fingers, but only one side is going in. And that's how you actually utilize the levels of adjustment. So one way is essentially you just pull the strap, so that way it's just going in one direction. Bring the strap back over and then clip it into the side here. The other way is just double strapping the bag, and then of course you can have it at its full length like that. So yeah, it's got 3 levels of adjustment, which I think is a major pro for this bag, because the kind of equivalent counterparty to the Mini Roulis is the Constance 18, and it doesn't have any levels of adjustment. To the next pro, this bag is typically made in EVERCOLOUR. It's more so made in EVERCOLOUR than it is made, well, we'll get to the other leather, we'll get to the cons later, and that's where I'll talk to you about what leathers it is not made in. But this bag is widely available in EVERCOLOUR leather, and then obviously, as you know, you can get it in, you know, BARENIA. And the great thing about EVERCOLOUR leather is that it shows colors really vibrantly. It's kind of like Swift, but it's got more of a grain to it, so it's a little, it makes it a little bit more resistant to scratches. I personally don't feel that swift scratches easily. The bag is also understated, so I think that that's a pro as well, because it's not flashy, it's not in your face Hermes. People don't really know that this is Hermes unless they know the brand very well. It's also got very easy in and out access, unlike the Constance bag. So all you have to do is lift the flap up and that's it. Push the flap down. That's it. No pulling off the buckle, pushing it in, nothing like that. No scratching it when you're trying to lift this up. You just pull it on the side and it comes up. Or you can just run your hand along the front, but really I feel like you have to, unless there's contents in the bag, then you can push it up like that. But because the bag's empty right now, I have to use it on the side. This has more compartments than the Constance 18 and the Constance 24. It has, in the inside of the bag, it's got the back pocket, which is the same as on the Constance bag, but it's got this divider in the middle, which opens up to kind of a little slot compartment, which the Constance doesn't have. The Constance just has the single divider and then that's it. So you've got a little secret pocket on the inside for like receipts, parking tickets, anything like that. And then you've also got the pocket at the back, which you do not get on any of the Constance bags either. So that's convenient again for flat items or just chucking in your phone quickly if you needed to be hands-free. The price of the Mini Roulis is actually less than the price of its counterpart, the Constance 18. I say counterpart because the Constance 18 is very similar in shape. It's similar in like the fact that you can crossbody the bag, that sort of thing. It's just quite similar in the whole sort of overall look. So the Roulis is actually cheaper than the Constance 18. Now you can actually crossbody this bag at 105 centimeters. It's the same strap length as, I think it may be the same strap length. I'm not 100% sure. I do have a Constance 18 review on my channel, or when I did the unboxing, I think I talked about it. This bag is also not a quota bag, so that means that you can get multiples of these bags in a year. Not really, because Hermes does have a limit anyway. They kind of don't let you push that limit. But I mean, like, you know, with Birkins and Kellys, you can only get maximum of 2 of those per year, either a Birkin or a Kelly. You can't get 2 Birkins, 2 Kellys. You can only get 2 in general, whereas the Roulis, you could get 3 in a year because it is not a quota bag. You can also get this easier at the boutique as well. You generally don't need any pre-spending to request a Roulis, especially in the US. However, in some other countries, particularly in Asia, where Hermes is extremely popular, they do sort of want some kind of pre-spending. So maybe like, you know, having bought a few items to at least show that you're into the brand, you don't just only buy the handbags. That's how you generally will obtain a Mini Roulis in other countries. But in the US, I have heard that it's much easier to sort of get. The Mini Roulis is more popular than the Roulis 23, so that's why it's a little bit more strict, especially in Asian countries. And I think even in Australia, they won't let you get a Mini Roulis unless you have some kind of profile with the boutique. I know in Australia it's actually very hard to get this bag. Yeah, it's pretty hard to get this bag. I mean, you can request it at the boutique, but it's not easy. It's far easier to get an Evelyne or a Pinkerton than it is to get a Mini Roulis. The buckle of this bag is actually modeled after the Shandong. The Shandong is actually quintessential for Hermes, that little shape here. The other pro is that for the Roulis bag, you actually have a better chance of getting it in a rarer to come by leather than what you are for Birkins and Kellys. So say like with Birkins and Kellys, it's really hard to get a BARENIA Birkin or Kelly. It is really quite hard to request one. In the resale market, they sell for quite a lot, but you can actually get the Mini Roulis from the boutique, you know, if you're able to order it or if you're lucky enough. But it is still better chances, the odds are still better of being able to get the rarer leather of BARENIA in the Mini Roulis. You can also get this in a Veau Butler and Sombrero. I have seen Sombrero Mini Roulis, not as often as I used to. I feel like they're not really doing Sombrero leather very much. But yeah, I have seen Veau Butler. Veau Butler looks a bit like Vache Natural, but it is actually finished leather. And it's still fairly new to the house as well. So yeah, that's a good thing if you're wanting to get a heritage leather or some kind of rarer to come by leather, but you're having trouble getting it in a Birkin or Kelly, or you don't want to pay too high of a premium in the resale market, then perhaps look at just getting it in a Mini Roulis. There's actually more depth to the Mini Roulis than there is in the Constance 18. So the actual side gussets are a little bit wider. There's just a little bit more depth overall. The size is actually the same. This is 18 centimeters, but there's just more depth, and you can really see it at the top of the bag too. If you were to look at a Constance 18 in this way, you really can see that it's much more narrow. It's probably more like that. whereas you can see with the Mini Roulis, there's just a lot more depth to it, so there's a lot more space. And the final pro that I have listed here is that it's available in 3 hardware options. So you've got silver, which is what my one's in, then you've got gold hardware, and then you have permabrass. Permabrass is pretty much smack in between gold hardware and silver hardware. Maybe sort of like Chanel light gold sort of thing. Now moving on to the cons. When I received this bag, I didn't get a rain cover, but you don't get it with the Constance 18 or the Constance 24 as well, but it's still a con that you unfortunately don't get a rain cover with this bag. The other con is that this does not hold value as well as a Constance 18. So, for example, in the resale market, if you were to look for a Mini Roulis about a year old, you'd probably be saving maybe a couple $1,000s on the retail price. I'm talking Australian dollars. Maybe it's only like 1,500 US. If it's only a year old, pre-loved in the resale market, it doesn't hold its value. It does sell for a loss, unfortunately. Brand new, if you were to buy a Mini Roulis brand new in the resale market, sometimes you can get them less than retail, and sometimes they're just exactly the same as retail, and you can go and pick exactly what you want. You can just wait for the right one to come up rather than, you know, waiting at the boutique, that sort of thing. So that's kind of the downfall, is that it's not as desirable as the Constance 18, and therefore it doesn't have the same kind of investment status that the Constance 18 sort of has. Strap length on this might actually be a little bit short for someone who is quite tall or quite curvy. You may not be able to wear it crossbody. You probably only have to wear it on the shoulder, and you may have to then use the adjustment levels, because if it's just on the shoulder drop, it might be too long. You may have to adjust it up to the next level. And the only downfall is that when you adjust it up to the next level, you have the strap running across the bag, which can feel like that. I'm just going to show you like that. It can kind of be a bit awkward with getting your contents in and out when you do have it at that adjustment level like that. It's actually quite expensive, this bag, for the fact that it doesn't hold its value. It's about 1,000 to 1,500 in Australia, less than the Constance 18, which is still means that it comes quite close in price, especially because it doesn't hold its value. I did mention before that it's a pro, that it's understated, but can also be perceived as a con. Because it is understated, it's not known to be a luxury handbag, and if you're wanting to really show where you've put your money into, unless the person that happens to see it really knows Hermes, chances are the average person really won't have a clue. Whereas in contrast to the Constance 18, the H buckle is quite obvious. The other con is that I mentioned that it's available at EVERCOLOUR, which is a pro, but it can also be a con because EVERCOLOUR does have similar characteristics to Swift, and in dark leathers it does show, it can show scratches, and it does tend to show scratches depending on how deep it is. I feel as though you can sort of buff it out with your finger, even like a very lightweight conditioner and a bit of buffing with a polishing cloth, a microfiber polishing cloth. I feel as though that does get out scratches. The final con that I have, still on the subject of leathers, is that this is not available in Togo, it's not available in Clemence, it's not available in Epsom, it's not available in Chev, so it's not available in any of the other leathers. So if you want to get a Mini Roulis, you pretty much 9 times out of 10 you're going to end up with an EVERCOLOUR Mini Roulis, unless you're lucky enough to get more of like the heritage leather like BARENIA, or the other rare leathers like Sombrero or Vogue Butler, but they are much harder to come by. So is BARENIA, it is harder to come by. Chances are you end up with an EVERCOLOUR. Overall, I've counted that I have 12 pros versus 7 cons. It is fairly subjective anyway, but I feel as though overall this is a great bag. I do definitely recommend it. I much prefer it than the Constance 18 because it's really easy to get in and out of the bag. This is fantastic, especially when you're a mum and you've got young kids. The last thing you want to be doing is fiddling around with a buckle to get in and out. It can be quite annoying. And I also like that it does fit a bit more than the Constance 18. And yeah, and I like the fact that it's actually understated. I like that it's people that really know the house and know the brand and love luxury handbags would know what it is. Pretty much wraps up everything that I have to say in regards to my review of the Mini Roulis bag, which I am very much enjoying. So if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye!